if there is a difference. See, we told you. If there is no difference, you did the test wrong. Keep up the good work, Glenn.
Sadly, I think that is the most accurate comment I've ever seen on this show. Ain't life grand? Hey guys, before we get to the questions, I almost forgot I wanted to do this. It's a mini concert review of the Judas pre-show on April the 13th in Hamilton, Ontario. Hamilton, my hometown, actually. It was kind of cool to finally get to see Priest somewhere like that because I never thought it would actually happen, but yet here we are. Just want to give a great big shout out to Mr. Wilf Wright for making that possible and getting me access to the photo pit. Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, the pre-show, it was fun. It was great. Queensryche opened it up. Honestly, they kind of phoned it in a little bit. Great vocalist, but, you know, not a lot of stage movement. You know, they're getting pretty ancient as well as Priest. So there is that, but I had a fantastic time at the show. It was at the First Ontario Centre in Hamilton. Actually, that's my first time seeing a show there. The place was built back in the 80s. And now they're like pushing it a little bit more as a concert video. I'm gonna have more on that in a couple minutes. Anyway, so Priest hit the stage, and like I said, I had access to the photo pit for like the first 3 songs, so it was really amazing to get to see them up close like that. I mean, Richie Faulkner's been on the show before. Great guy. He's in good form, you know. Gets my vote for the toughest guy in metal. Literally had a heart attack on stage and finished the song. He apparently is doing much better these days, so that's really cool. Glad to hear Richie's is healthy and not having any more issues, so that's cool. I got to chat with Andy Sneap a little bit before the show. It's always good to see Andy. I mentioned the idea of possibly doing an interview with him at his studio this summer because I'm going to be in England, and he was definitely down for it if our schedules match up, so hopefully that's going to happen. I'd really love to go to Andy's place and just talk about, you know, his whole production methodology and take a look at, you know, his setup and how he works. I think that would be an extremely cool video to do. You guys want to see that, be sure to leave a comment below. Anyway, yeah, Halford was in fine form. You know, the guy's got an absolutely amazing voice, my favorite singer. And, you know, I mean, like at 70, the fact he can still get up there and do it night after night after night is really fucking impressive. It just goes to show what kind of a career you can have if you take care of yourself and take care of your voice. Obviously, he's had to change a few melody lines here and there because, you know, singing is like being an athlete. You just can't do things like you used to sometimes, and that's unfortunately is the reality of the situation. But it's still really great to see them get up there, do their thing, and blow the fucking roof off the place because they're still crushing it live. Now, I had a chance to talk to the media person at the First Ontario Centre, and they were interested to know if I'd be interested in doing some concert ticket giveaways. And I know Iron Maiden is going to be there in October, so that's something I'd like to know from you guys. Would you guys be interested in possibly getting to go see a show or two on the First Ontario Centre? If that's something you'd like to see, leave a comment below and we can make that happen. The only caveat is you're going to have to be like within driving distance of that place. I know this is a worldwide show, but you know, if you're like within a 6 to 8 hour radius of Hamilton, Ontario, it's probably going to be worth the drive. That's something you guys want to see. I want to hear from you. Anyway, let's get right to it.
Here's one more important point that I'm missing on this list. No ego trips! If a band of, e.g., 5 people vote 4 to 5 for something and you're 1 of 5 votes against it, well, guess what? You have to oblige the majority. If you don't, you are on an ego trip and not capable of being in a band because that's not how it works.
Well, Sancho, history says otherwise. Here's the thing. If you've got 5 guys in a band, but you've got one guy with all the talent and writes all the songs and writes the big hits and all that kind of shit, maybe the rest of you guys should shut the fuck up and listen to that dude because he probably got a pretty good idea on how to make a record successful. The band I'm referencing, of course, is Creedence Clearwater Revival, where John Fogerty wrote all the material. And after 4 or 5 records in, the rest of the guys got pretty upset about it and said, hey, next record, we're doing everything equally. Everybody's going to write everything equally. We're going to get all the songwriting credits equal, blah, blah, fucking blah. Everything's going to be equal. It's going to be a democracy. And the album they put out was called Mardi Gras, and it was the worst fucking pile of shit in history. It was like Metallica putting out Lulu. It just sucked so fucking hard. Everybody hated it, and guess what? Fogerty quit and went on to go do his own thing. And he got completely and royally fucked by the record company along the way, and he never saw any of the royalties from any of those songs that he wrote from Creedence Clearwater Revival in order to get out of his contract. There was a whole fucking drama about it in the 80s and all kinds of shit. He even got sued by his own former record company over it. Point being is, if you've got somebody who can write some fucking cool stuff, let the guy do what he does. Just be happy you're there and along for the ride. I don't know if I completely agree with the idea of bands being a democracy. I mean, like the Doors did everything unanimously, and that seemed to work for a while. Anyway, so it can work. There's always different ways to look at a particular situation. I mean, yeah, if you've got a guy in your band who shreds guitar really great but can't write a song to save his life, maybe, yeah, you should be doing things as a democracy. But then again, if you've got a talented songwriter, maybe do what that guy wants to do, because chances are you're probably going to be way more successful. Just a thought anyway. I could be wrong. You guys tell me in the comments below. What do you think about that?
I wonder, since we've been told time and time again, if the whole make sure your tubes match is just more snake oil, I recently had a tube start to go on my Vox AC30. Of course, the stores all say to make sure that they're matched and change all the tubes at once, but I'm just gonna swap out the bad one and see.
Dude, that's a phenomenal question. I honestly don't know the answer to that one. I mean, like, if you swap out one mismatched tube, I don't think you're going to kill your amp. I don't think you're gonna have any kind of problem with that. I mean, you know, we always hear about, oh, you need to bias the amp, you need to bias the amp, and I'm like, I don't even know how fucking true that is. I mean, like, when we did the tube test video, we're swapping power tubes out on, you know, the 59 Fender Pro that we had, when we weren't hearing any major tone shifts. So, you know, that kind of is a bit of a head scratcher there. Now, if you do a Google search, this is the thing that comes up. Power tubes require matching because the way they amplify signal can create exceptionally bad sound if they are poorly matched. But the preamp tubes generally aren't used this way, so matching them is unnecessary. And that's citing the tubestore.com. Let's be clear, the tubestore.com makes their money by selling you matched sets of tubes. One thing that was interesting is I followed that link onto the tubestore.com, and they didn't have any particular sound examples posted of what badly matched power tubes sound like. I wonder why that is. I did a few searches on guitar forums. There was definitely some varying degrees of opinions on that. A lot of people are saying, nah, you know what, it might not be necessary. It really depends on how clean you want your amp to sound. You know, if you're playing metal guitar, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You're playing a Vox, so I don't know how metal you're gonna get with that. If you want things super, super, super clean, you're probably gonna wanna match them, but if you don't mind a little bit of grit and distortion in your sound, the matched power tubes thing might not be necessary. My suggestion would be at least fire your amp up, try out a new tube, see what happens. If it sucks, you can always get a matched set. But if you like the sound and it sounds good to your ear, then it's probably absolutely fine. And for all those of you guys who are freaking out, no, that's fucking sacrilege, you gotta... Here's a follow-up opinion on this.
For the boners out there that still don't get it, a vacuum tube is a device that controls electric current flow in a high vacuum between electrodes. While different tubes will affect how much current is flowing through the system, this does not generate sound. Speakers do. They also don't capture sound. Microphones do. Pretty sure that's what Glenn was trying to point out here. Regardless of the level of gain, those two pieces of the puzzle are the most important.
Exactly. Tubes are going to affect your clarity, how much distortion you're getting versus how much of a clean amplified signal you're getting. That's it. Changing the tubes out is not going to revoice your amp, and that's something we've all been led to believe by some clever marketing and some mythos put out around it. But when you actually put shit to the test, you realize, hey, guess what? Changing a tube out isn't going to give me a lift at 2K or give me a cut at 500 hertz. That's what changing your speakers does.
Honestly, as a screenwriter, I can say it's the same with film directors nowadays. They all want to make these artsy-fartsy long movies instead of more accessible films. Then they wonder why nobody watches them. LOL.
Dude, I think you hit the nail right on the head, and this is not anything new. The whole art versus commerce thing has been going on for decades, especially when it comes to popular media like film, like music, that kind of thing. I mean, like, you want to sell records or do you want to create something artistic? The problem is, when you start creating the artistic thing, you start going in much more of a niche and your audience dwindles. So it really comes down to what do you want to get out of your music and how much do you want it to appeal and how many people do you want to come to your shows?
I'm tired of bands that put their heart and soul into their compositions and create music that is pure art and then go sell out and make popular and marketable songs. The smart kids sell out first. Get famous and rich making marketable and memorable music, then express yourself through your art.
Oh yes, the bands that come out of the gate blasting with really cool stuff, and then after they've done a couple of records, they develop themselves and want to artistically express themselves. To quote Henry Rollins on this one, those are the albums that suck. Hey guys, this week's episode is sponsored by none other than Spectre Digital. We've got a brand new promotion note right now for all you guys who are looking to get back out on the road and start playing gigs. This is called Don't Be a Dummy, Learn to Make Money. We've got the DIY band and DIY merch courses up on sale right now until May 1st. This is Ty Christensen's course. He's the singer from Lord of the Trident. He's been touring as an independent band for the last 6 years or whatnot. And when he goes on tour, he always comes back making a profit. profit. And he's done a course to show you how to do the exact same thing, how to make your own merch and make money doing it that way, how to budget appropriately for when you're touring, how to plot out your tour and save on gas and travel time and all that cool stuff. And basically he teaches you how to take the headaches out of touring. So if you've got a band and you're looking to get out on the road this summer and you're tired of coming home to a pile of bills, I implore you, go check this out. This is what I'm talking about.
When you're ready to print, hold your squeegee at a 45-degree angle and press forward across the design, applying even pressure. Remove the screen and your shirt is printed. Once you've printed your shirt, remember, the ink is still wet. So don't let the shirt touch anything else.
All right, so that's Ty Christensen's DIY band and DIY merch courses. But we've got a special intro price right now for only $135. You can get that on sale until May 1st, and then it goes back up to normal price. So grab it now while you can, especially if you're looking to play a show, because this is what you need to know. Anyway, now it's time for the Butthurt of the Week.
Is this all this channel is now about ripping apart gear to get views? It seems like a constant barrage of videos berating equipment that other people find useful. And just because you don't doesn't mean it's a piece of crap.
Sounds like somebody bought a 5150 cab loaded with the shit fields. Okay, dude, you know what? Let's consider that for a moment. Okay, the 5150 cabinet isn't a piece of crap because it did all those amazing tones on which records exactly? Oh yeah, like, oh yeah, right. Nobody's ever recorded a really amazing guitar sound with a 5150 cab. Cause the speakers are dog shit, you stupid fuck! Maybe if they took the shit fields out and put in some decent speakers like I did in the video, like some of the brand new Celestion EVHs, which are fucking incredible, then they could get some good results. But those shit field speakers unfortunately are just downright terrible. I don't know what the fuck went wrong. I think it's a real fucking tragedy. And you know, if you spent money on that, I feel bad for you. The thing is though, nobody likes to admit it when they made a bad purchase because it makes them seem foolish. That's the point of the show, is to help you guys avoid making bad purchases. It isn't about ripping apart bad gear all the time. You're like, geez, I got a wall of amps here that are all absolutely incredible. Hell, I got this 10S guitar. It's just absolutely amazing. Only $500. I think this guitar is phenomenal. It's one of the best playing guitars I have. So it's not about tearing apart things, and I'm sorry you feel that way because I tore apart something you bought. Maybe next time, watch more of my reviews. That way you can be an informed purchaser and not waste your money on something that's total dog shit. Believe it or not, I am actually trying to help you avoid making a stupid mistake.
Whatever the gear is, I just want to see you yell at. For real though, I think most of us want to see you give your opinion on any gear available, cheap or pricey. We're interested in your SME opinion.
Well, thanks, Cletus, but it's SMG. Try paying attention next time before you hit the send button. That would just help the show go along a whole lot better. Anyway, I do like that though. I asked the question on shorts there a couple days. What do you guys want to see? You want to see the cheap stuff? You want to see the expensive stuff? And most people are like, hey, just do your thing, which I thought was great. Some people were bitching that I put the 10S on the show. I think it's a fucking bargain for what you're getting, actually. I think it's really great. And there's no fret creep on here at all. It's nice and smooth. I really like this guitar a lot. Definitely worth checking it out. But then again, you know, I like the expensive shit too, like the Soldano or that Lewitt 1040 mic I just reviewed there a few weeks ago. That was fucking phenomenal too. So I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep reviewing the expensive stuff and the not so expensive stuff, and you know, just kind of strike a happy medium. We'll see how it goes anyway. But I will always give you guys the truth, even if it does upset some shitfield owners.
You knew as soon as you spit on the grave of anything EVH, the butthurt would be strong and fierce. I don't know why they're all upset about cabs though. Everyone knows that tone comes from the guitar wooden tubes. Okay, man, cool vid, awesome cab, but you gotta break down that bass tone. Like, I'm killing myself trying to get a tone like that, and I can't keep it from sounding like an electric guitar. Glad for the love of all things metal teaches guitars how to make a bass sound like a bass.
It's coming, I swear. You're talking about the Happy Cabs demo I did there a couple weeks back, and yeah, I was really blown away by the tone I got that. Not just the cab, but the Mojo Tone speakers that went along with it. Talking with those guys, we might be doing a custom SMG speaker at some time. I think that might be really fucking cool. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, about the bass tone, I really want to show you guys what I'm using, but I can't. We're not ready yet. I'm like in an alpha piece of software right now from Spectre Digital. But a lot of you guys have been asking, hey, what's up with that bass tone? Hey, what's up with that bass tone? We get comments like that every week. All I can say is we've got something really special coming out from Spectre Digital, and I know you guys are really going to like it, and I can't wait to show it to you. Hopefully it'll be out in a couple months. We're just putting some tweaks on it right now. It's not quite ready for prime time, but what it is, believe me, you guys are going to be the first to know, and I think you're going to like what you see and hear.
Sounded heavy as fuck, dude. With all these speaker and cab demos, I've been reevaluating where I should invest my money when it comes to my sound. For too long, I've been pouring money into amps and pedals and heads and guitars. I probably should have started where the fucking sound comes from. LOL. Keep up the great work, Glenn. You're doing crumbs work.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I mean, like, I realized this way back in 2003. I had a couple of different guitar cabinets that were custom built by my good buddy Steve, who helped me build the studio. We had some Celestians with some 100s, and we had some with the 85s. I noticed a huge difference in tone. And then, you know, a couple years after that, I discovered, you know, vintage 30s, and it's like, hey, wow, these all really do have their own signature and affect the tone. So I'd say the single most important part on your signal chain, whether we like it or not, is going to be the speaker. And of course, you're going to get variances from speaker to speaker as well. When you talk about vintage 30s, there's a huge variance from the old ones to the new ones. And it's just, yeah, it becomes kind of interesting and a lot more fun to kind of track down some vintage shit to see what you can get. That being said, we're going to probably see a lot more speaker brands on the show. Somebody was say I should be checking out the Electro Voice speakers because they've got a certain signature to them as well. Who knows if I can make something happen there? I'll try. But as always, if you guys have suggestions for speaker brands, I want to hear from you because I'm definitely going to do some demos on them. Leave them below. Oh yeah, right. I got the Hetsu cab there the other day, hence I'm wearing the Demon shirt. That's a really fucking badass cab. I put it up on one of my YouTube shorts there last week and got some pretty good results. I'm going to do a full demo on it there probably at the end of next week. We'll see how it goes. I've got a pretty busy schedule this week, so it might be a week or two before we see the Hetsu, but it is coming.
Jesus, Glenn, can't you review the expensive stuff and add in where we can steal it for free? Best of both worlds! God! All your videos are amazing no matter the subject, dude. Keep on keeping on.
Hey, thanks a lot for that ass bomb, but I hate to break it to you. Jesus isn't real.
Cheap, affordable, and effective would seem like the obvious direction that would benefit all of us. Never let nationalism dictate where quality is, friends.
Chris Spears, that's just downright un-American.
Glenn, you should check out Weber Speaker's Tonecult series.
Yeah, I've heard about the Webers before. I think that is something I'd really like to check out. If you have some particular model names that I should be looking at, believe me, I'd appreciate the suggestion. Leave a comment, let me know. Another brand that keeps coming up is Scumbag. Apparently they can make speakers sound like, you know, like old greenbacks from the 60s and shit. I think that might be really cool to take a look at as well. We'll see how it goes. All I can say is, yeah, just give me some suggestions. Anything but a vintage 30.
Glenn, I've been wondering, we've heard stories from the past about how come guitar tones were found accidentally during the recording process and became legendary. Mic placement, rip cone, amp facing a wall, etc. In this day of digital recording and mixing, are there still happy accidents in the studio or new sounds just found in post-production?
Oh, that's a damn good question. You know, I'm not sure the actual answer to that. I've had a few happy accidents in here, but I still use the real shit. I remember I was miking up a cab one day and I had a couple of ribbons out in the room and I threw them up and I'm like, whoa, hey, that's interesting. Got a great big stereo room sound just on my cleans here. That was kind of neat. You know, I mean, Chris Tsangarides came up with that whole vortex thing by placing mics around the room and shit like that. Unfortunately, you're just not going to get that using impulse responses because you're basically on rails. You know, you're going to get one sound and that's pretty much it. I mean, like, you can do some cool stuff with the two notes things, don't get me wrong, but you know, you're still kind of forced to work within that ecosystem that's been set up. So there's no real chance for a happy accident, in my opinion. This is the thing though. I mean, like, recording techniques in general basically happened through trial and error. I mean, the guys, when they came up, the original technology didn't know how to fucking mic up a drum set. They learned by doing and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. When you're just recording digitally at home in a closed system, you're not going to have that chance. But then again, you know, the flip side of that is you're going to get a better sound a whole lot faster. So if you want to, you know, just concentrate on getting a great performance instead of fucking around with the engineering end of things, yeah, you can definitely do that. Happy accidents, yeah, they probably still happen, but I imagine they're a little more rare these days.
Another great video. Nirvana, LMAO. I love when Kurt is on lists of top guitar players of all time. Makes me taste my own bile. Listen to the solo on Heart-Shaped Box. Now that is talent.
Yeah, I don't think Kurt Cobain really belongs on any top guitar players list. I mean, like, you know, he's not a Vi or a Van Halen or a Hendrix even. But the guy could write hooks. Give him credit where credit is due. He wasn't a great guitar player, but damn, he was a good songwriter.
I want to add one. Rent a practice space. Don't hold band practice at a band member's house. My band had a guitarist who canceled practice at the last minute and disappeared for about a week. He was holding about $1,000 worth of gear of mine and my bass player. Had to message his girlfriend and say, if we can't make arrangements to get our stuff back, we're just going to show up randomly to pick it up, and we're not ruling out police involvement either. He ended up piling our stuff into his truck and delivering it to him, but he never made any apologies during that meeting. So yeah, he's gone.
That's some wise words. I mean, like, that shit happens all the time, even at the professional level. I mean, like, there was a story there a few years ago when Eddie Van Halen tried jamming with Fred Durst and left some stuff over at his house and was having a hard time getting it back. So we went over to Fred's place with a fucking gun demanding his stuff back. So yeah, maybe a third-party rehearsal space might be a real good idea. Oh yeah, who are we kidding? Like, you guys are ever going to spend money on a rehearsal space.
Great video, Glenn. Very informative. You know, a pro is a pro when he tells you to stop wasting on money and time worrying about pointless crap. The fact is, amateurs worry about getting the most expensive converters, gold cables, analog gear, etc. The pros are the ones that tend to have done their own tests, understand how their equipment works, and recognize all the crap for the snake oil that it truly is. Being an audiophile has kind of become synonymous with gullible snob these days.
Hey, Helgi, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the observation. Now, that was on that roundtable podcast type video we did there last week where I had Ethan Weiner and Pipeline Audio on. Yeah, I was really happy with that. Ethan's an absolute trip. If you haven't checked that video out, please do. It's pretty damn cool. Now, we were calling it like evidence-based audio or something like that, or audio Mythbusters. If you guys have some suggestions for that series, I would love to hear it. We're talking about doing a monthly episode because we got a lot of positive feedback, and a lot of guys were like, do more. So we're taking a look at, mics and preamps and converters and all kinds of crap like that, and just kind of putting to rest a lot of the bullshit that goes along with it. Because those guys are from the same philosophy I am, is that, like, let's cut the shit and talk about what's actually going on. Anyway, guys, that's it for another episode this week. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. Once again, don't forget to check out Ty Christian's DIY band and DIY tour courses, on sale now for only $135. They'll be on sale to May 1st. Grab it while you can before the price goes back up to $200. And until next time, I leave you with this. Don't ever be afraid to discuss your wages with your coworkers. If your boss says there's a company policy in place that you can't do that, tell him to go fuck himself, because that's actually illegal.